Welcome back. We're going to take a short break on the phones, and we'll get back to them momentarily. It's been a very busy week on the program with, of course, Lane Kiffin. And yesterday, of course, we had the new coach at Missouri on. Vince Thompson, who has been with us quite often throughout the fall, is in New York today. Many things are going on. It's a busy week. I'll let Vince explain. And some news came out of a conference that both of us have participated in. Last year I was at the Sports Business Journal Learfield Conference interviewing Commissioner Sankey, but today Mark Emmert was there. But first of all, Vince, great to have you on. Vince Thompson from Melt. Talk about this week in New York. I had to meet some people up in Midtown by Central Park West a couple hours ago, and it seems like half the world is in New York City this week. If not half the world, the entire world of college football. The entire world of college football. Paul, thanks for having me. Fancy us both being in New York together. It is interesting. Not in Kansas or Alabama anymore, right? not according to the rumor mill. But it's kind of a big week for the business of college football. Last night was the induction of the College Football Hall of Fame members. An amazing experience every year. Pays tribute, to the leaders, and all the athletic directors and coaches come in. Today, as you said, and tomorrow, a big sports marketing conference around the leadership of college athletics. When I left the Crowne Plaza, Commissioner Sankey was delivering his remarks. We'll get to him in a few minutes as well. And then on Saturday, the Heisman. Yeah. And so, And Thursday night, it goes to your hometown with the College Football Awards at the Hall of Fame. Thursday night, College Football Hall of Fame, ESPN Awards. And it's kind of similar to the Oscars. I'm sure you'll be working the red carpet. They have me on the blue carpet this year. Yeah. It's been that kind of year. Yeah, it has been that kind of year. But yeah, it's a wonderful week, and like I said, they cap it off, and also the Army-Navy game is Saturday, which obviously is amazing pageantry. But it's always the president obviously got fired up by watching the Alabama LSU game. He's going to the Army-Navy game as well. I think the president likes college football. He does, which is really not a bad thing for any of us in the end, right? I think it's great. And so, but yeah, he loves college football. We were all together in Tuscaloosa when the president came, and then we were together in Atlanta. We weren't literally with the president. Right. Yeah, we were being held by Secret Service, but no, it's college football, and we're going to talk about this in just a minute, has never been hotter, and I think that's the reason you're seeing a lot going on, even in the halls of Congress. Right. Yeah, I want to talk because Mark Emmert, the president of the NCAA, made some news today, and he made some headlines. I don't know about news because when we played his comments earlier, it seemed very parsed. He's talking about change, but not yet. Well, as they say, change is inevitable, growth is optional. Choose wisely. My sources say that the Power Five commissioners have been actively working in the halls of Congress, and there could be some big news coming out of that. There's a working group of United States senators. It's going to be tied into legislation allowing the players to be paid. And some of the schools may move toward an Ivy League model of funding their student athletes. And so everything is on the table right now, unlike I've ever seen it, and unlike you've seen it in our many. So explain, Vince, why the paradigm shift? What's going on out there? I think it's a forced hand. I think that it's inevitable. I think, anytime the money gets as big and the disparity, they're getting great educations and all that. But I think you now are getting a lot of smart minds at the table from all walks. And so, and I think this is one of the first times I've seen, the true fairness of the athlete, the consideration of the fairness of the athlete. I think you've had some court cases the NCAA and the EA case. You see the California governor open the floodgates, and so you're going to see some change. I would predict one day the Power Five will be its own separate entity in totality, not a member of the NCAA. So, what's going to be the first step? Paying? Likeness, paying, which one?
I think the first step is the name, image, and likeness, and the athletes being able to take advantage of their image, no different than any other college student. But I think that's a gateway, or maybe even a stalking horse, to portend much larger changes to come.
It's interesting because it doesn't seem to me, and you work with a lot of these people, that the people in charge of intercollegiate athletics are moving or wanting to move very quickly. In fact, they did not want to move at all. So the California bill clearly had a big impact. What else is influencing those people to finally move forward?
Well, the thing you have to understand, and I've dealt with them for many, many years, is that these are a lot of academicians and athletic administrators, and they don't typically have the same mindset that many of us do who are in the business world or entrepreneurial world. And so you're kind of seeing that clash of those civilizations right now. And again, when the money wasn't as big as it is now, it wasn't a forced hand. And so now it's a forced hand.
It also seems to me, and maybe because I'm on these shows Tuesday and Wednesday morning with former NFL players, former NBA players, and they're influencing young people. It's all. I remember not long ago, you could get into a pretty healthy argument. You should play in games, shouldn't be paid. You should be happy to be getting a scholarship. And now it's all different, and it's all coming from top down, from the professional athletes who seem to be effectively and significantly influencing the athletes to be more. To have more freedom and to be expressing that.
Well, there's a generational shift. Mm-hmm. When you look at a 25 or 30-year-old who has 100 to 150, 200 million dollars in the bank. I mean, look at Zion Williamson. Mm-hmm. He's 18 or he's 19. It's very well likely people like LeBron James were advising him.
Right.
Right. It's very well likely that, and I think one of his business partners may be his agent. It's very well likely his shoe company is Zion's company, Nike. So, think about the fact that a kid in high school now can have access to advice from LeBron James or a Cam Newton or somebody like that. I mean, it's really the horse is out of the barn. The second piece is the technology and the social media never existed up until now. And you and I had dinner with, Tim Cook recently. And if you look at Tim's going to have a lot to say about this, by the way.
He will.
He's going to have a lot to say about it because Tim manufactures the devices that a lot of this is being on-ramped on. And secondly, Tim Cook's in the content business. And so when you have people like that who are influencing the consumers, the kids, and you have stars like LeBron James advising, or Jay-Z, and their age gap is not that far. I go back to this. It's a forced hand. And but it's not like the NCAA doesn't want to do it. It's just that you got to understand their mindset is different than commerce and capitalism and consumer. And so, but when you're sitting in a big place in Indianapolis and you're collecting $1 billion check a year, you got to have a little bit different shift now.
A lot of other conversations are out there, and you mentioned the conversation we had with Cook, Tim Cook of Apple, who. And we were together with him at Auburn a couple weeks ago. He is a big Auburn fan, and but he's he's at the vanguard of all things, all change. He happens to be in Japan this week. Goes from Auburn to Japan. That's a normal path, isn't it?
Right. Well, he alluded that he had been in China, and then he had been in Robertsdale, Alabama.
Yeah.
And then he had been in Auburn, Alabama, but. The thing that struck me about Tim is that, A, he's a wonderful human being, and B, very aware and very astute at what's going on in college athletics.
Oh, amazing.
Well, because the thing you got to think about.
With everything in college athletics.
Because this is the next generation of his consumer.
Right.
And so he doesn't want to do anything to offend that consumer. Because and I could see Apple playing a big role in all of this. And
I wish we. It was pretty interesting when Tim Cook is giving the both of us, especially me, career advice.
Well, we need all the help we can get, and I guess they're worse people to be giving career advice to.
I mean, and when you think you know all you need to know about your own industry, and a guy who's producing television shows, devices, new computers, is telling me and you about what's going on and the things that we swim in every day. It was pretty interesting. Anyway, need to get to a break. Vince Thompson with us. We'll talk about some of the issues that are ahead. We'll ultimately get back to your phone calls at 855-242-7285. Final hour, we'll talk to Chris Lowe about what he learned being on the Lane train this week in Oxford.